Hello and welcome! In this video, we show how your software becomes a B2B data node. We reliably convert PDF email into validated transaction data, monetizable on a recurring basis, cleanly scalable and integrable as a white label backend. Here you will find an overview of all slides and their respective positions in the video. This allows you to jump to specific sections that interest you. It's not about a new tool, but about a platform lever. Many of your customers continue to work operationally via PDF/email. We offer a transactional core layer that reliably converts these inputs into structured, validated data, PEDIF as the core. Melius is the gateway to scale activation and fingerprint coverage across your customer base. If that's a fit, let's talk about monetization and the multiplier effect. We don't see this as IT optimization but as a platform and revenue issue. In many SME setups, PDF/email and spreadsheets are still the operational standard, which is exactly why the bottleneck in end-to-end automation arises. As a software vendor, when you integrate interoperability, your role shifts from the software function to the transaction layer between your customers and their business partners. This increases system depth, makes you harder to replace, and opens up additional monetization paths. That's why we also check the fit according to clear strategy items: platform economy, white label, end-to-end automation, and not just technically. The bottleneck is not a lack of software functionality, but the operational reality. Invoices, delivery notes, ABs come as PDF/email and are manually transferred to systems. This produces errors, queries, and delays, and prevents workflows from really running end-to-end. It gets particularly painful with order changes, quantities, deadlines. They are time-critical, but often run unstructured, and this is exactly where inconsistencies and planning problems arise. PEDIF is a scaling model, not a classic affiliate program with individual sales. The idea? You integrate PEDIF first as a back-end service into your software logic. Then we don't scale via individual projects, but via your existing ecosystem. Fingerprints are reusable, activation is standardized, and thus implementation and rollout costs per customer are significantly reduced. At the same time, this becomes a platform lever for you: white label, API first, and a recurring revenue model that can be docked into your existing customer base. The core is PEDIF, with structured transaction data. We recognize layouts by fingerprint and extract headers and positions based on rules. No black box AI. This gives you data quality that is sufficient for true automation. In the POC, we measure this clearly. Headers greater than or equal to 99%, line items greater than or equal to 98%, 95% of response times under 30 seconds, and straight-through processing as an automation rate. And the whole thing is back-end only, white label. Your brand, your customer relationship, no channel conflict. It is important to note that PEDIF does not only provide extraction, but also a usable transaction package. First, structured header and position data. Secondly, if you need it, compliant target formats such as Xrechnung or Zugford. Thirdly, mapping plus validation runs directly in the process so that the outputs are not only parsed, but verifiable. Integration is straightforward. You enter target format plus correlation, as well as idempotency, and get results back synchronously or via signed webhook. Melius is the ingestion and activation layer. In practice, not only PDF but also CSV, Excel, Word, and text comes directly from the mail body. Crucially, Melius ensures that 100% of incoming messages are processable. Each message is classified and routed correctly. If a fingerprint already exists for an input, it is sent to PEDIF in a structured way. If there is no fingerprint, Melius performs a best-effort extraction and can optionally secure cleanly via human-in-the-loop. This means that nothing remains in the inbox, and the rate at which PEDIF fingerprints take effect increases significantly. For CTOs, it is important to note that this is not a UI add-on, but a clean back-end integration. We have a REST-only single entry point for submissions and return results synchronously or, typically, via signed webhooks. Multi-tenancy is planned, tenant isolation is the core principle, and we are clear in governance: EU data residency, encryption at rest, retention controllable up to no store/streaming. To ensure that this comes through security and procurement, PEDIF is built as an operable back-end component. No UI, no channel conflict, your platform stays ahead. Governance is explicit. EU data residency, encryption, signed callbacks, and above all, controlled data storage with defined retention. And very important for partners, portability and exit are included so that you don't run into dependencies, and that this fits neatly into your product architecture in the long term. When you operate a transaction layer, it's not just functionality that counts but also efficiency. The benchmark shows that PEDIF is CPU-based, without GPU inference, and without model training, resulting in an extremely low energy and CO2 footprint per document. This is not only nice to have, but also becomes a real platform argument as volumes grow. Costs, scalability, and ESGE reporting. For you as a software provider, this is also a monetization toolkit. The easiest way to start is with usage revenue, per process transaction or volume level. At the same time, it can be packaged as an add-on module that sells a clear outcome: less manual work, better compliance, faster processes. The third lever is strategic. If you control the partner data exchange, the process depth increases. This increases retention and cross-sell. Important: we design it in such a way that it productizes and scales, not as a one-off project business. At PEDIF, economics are not consulting first, but productized. Activation costs something at the beginning, but thanks to fingerprints, this is a one-time setup per layout that is reused over many transactions and ideally across several end customers. As a result, the activation costs per customer decrease with each additional customer-supplier overlap. Revenue then scales through usage and volume. And crucially, quality is not a nice-to-have. The fewer exceptions and manual rework, the more stable your margin will be. We are deliberately not starting with the big promise of transformation, but with a clear expansion path. Phase 1 is PEDIF, 1 or 2 document types that have immediate volume and ROI. Phase 2 is Malleus. We increase coverage and speed up activation so that fingerprints grip faster and nothing gets stuck in the inbox. Only when the data quality is stable does Phase 3 make maximum sense. Comparius for the four-way match and Synchus for master data checks and synchronization. This keeps it productizable, measurable, and low risk. To make sure that this doesn't end in PowerPoint alignment, let's do it pragmatically, a 2-week POC with your real documents. We test few but relevant layouts and measure hard KPIs, data quality, straight-through processing, latency, and exceptional cases. At the same time, we clarify integration, REST webhooks, as well as governance issues such as retention and residency. After that, there's a clear go or no-go plus, if go, a rollout path that scales across your customer base. Before we go deeper, let's do a quick fit check. PEDIF is worthwhile if you 1. Have document-intensive processes 2. Reuse is possible via your customer base, and 3. You can productize it cleanly as a white-label backend, technically via REST and webhooks and commercially via usage add-on bundles. If there is a lack of volume or process connection, this is more of a later issue, then we should honestly say, not now. But with a go, let's do it.